بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وبعد. The ulama, they say, when we look at our deeds, whether they're good deeds or bad deeds, there's no such thing as a small deed when you think about how gracious Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in rewarding us. And there's no such thing as a small sin when we think about Allah's potential for punishing us. This is a concept that we need to bring into our minds, that there's no such thing as a small deed. I'm walking outside of the masjid, I see something on the floor. To pick it up and throw it into the trash is considered a small deed. But there's no such thing as small when we think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's potential for rewarding people. There are so many stories in the Quran and in the Hadith, particularly the Hadith, where someone would do something small, but that small deed would result in that person entering into Jannat al-Firdaus. Very famous example is a person who had a very bad history but gave water to a dog to drink. So this concept of being small, minor, something insignificant, should not be in the back of our mind when we think about Allah's ability to reward us, and as well as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ability to punish us. So the same is true that when I think about sins, whether it's controlling my gaze, the words that I use in my language, the way I spend my money, although they may be called saghira, a small sin, that doesn't mean I could carry on doing it again and again and again, because even small sins at some point are indicative of my own personality, right? Let's say, for instance, you have a friend who does something wrong that's small, but does it once. You know, they have a slip of a tongue. And then the second time, they're supposed to come over to your house, but then they come late. On the third time, the person promises to be helping you, but he doesn't help you. On the fourth time, the person says, you know what, you want some money, I'll give you some money. The person doesn't give you any money. On the fifth time, the person says he's going to give you the money on a particular date, but no, he gives you it on another. Although each of these small indiscretions, they're small. But the moment they start to accumulate, at some point you feel detached from the person, because it's like death from 1,000 cuts, as they say. It doesn't happen once or twice or thrice. Over time, it accumulates. So in our minds, we should be thinking not in terms of small, whether it's good deeds, hasanat, or ma'asiyah or sin. We should be thinking more about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can either reward or punish us. And when that's in front of us, then we will do whatever's in front of us, whether it's small or big. And when we think about Allah's potential of adhab and punishing us, then I'm going to avoid whatever's in front of me, be it small or big. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the opportunity to look at all good deeds as an opportunity of getting closer to Him. And may He allow us to see every sin, be they small or big, as a way of displeasing Allah, thus we avoid it.